Jacob never died? What is going on over here? This is something that it says in this week's Parsha, that even though it says that our patriarch Jacob passed away, in a sense, he never passed away. So it's very interesting that whenever we hear in the Torah that the Torah does talk about the passing of the righteous, it always says, and they lived. It always starts with, they lived, because what is their expression of life? It's their good deeds. In Hebrew, it says a beautiful thing. It says, V'yitzirotehem hana'alot. Their elevated doings and creations, because what they've done is the inheritance of all of our generations. It's called Nachalat Adorot. And not only that, we actually draw down life and energy from them. We live from them. We live through the righteous that were connected to us, because it says tzadikim b'mitatam k'rim chayim, that even in their death they're called alive. So the parsha discusses the passing of Jacob. The Haftarah discusses the passing of King David. And both of them, we know that we just mentioned, it says Jacob never passed away. And what do we say about King David? David Melech Yisrael Chai v'Kayam. Everyone knows that song. David Melech Yisrael Chai v'Kayam. He's alive. What is it saying? They're alive. Obviously, we just said all spiritual people are even more alive in their passing than in their life. But Jacob and David are alive in an even more physical sense, because they are even giving us energy. Certain tzaddikim are giving us even more energy than the rest. So Jacob and David are giving us a lot of influence. There's a deeper lesson there that when we decide, it's called Knesset Yisrael, the congregation of Israel, all of our souls. When we decide something, when we desire something, we can really transform things. So through our strong desire, we're actually transforming the attribute of death into life. According to our tradition, we just said that they're more powerful in their death while they're alive, especially when us, their children, are going in their ways and continuing to preserve the tradition of our ancestors. Nothing ever ends. It's called the Chut HaShani, which in English is translated as the scarlet thread, which keeps on continuing. We're continuing their way. So they're not dying, they're living, they're remaining. And so it's drawn down from each generation of souls, from generation to generation, and everything that happens in our generation really has happened in our nation's history. It's all repeating itself, like the suffering, the hope, the trust, and the faith in our salvation. It just keeps on repeating itself. So Jacob appeared to his sons at such a crucial time. He reveals himself to us too through his spiritual presence throughout all of the generations. So all this shows and demonstrates how great the power of our nation is in front of Hashem, that we can actually influence Hashem. We can influence Hashem through our desires. And we see this also in the story of Samuel the prophet. The nation asked for a king, and he said it's not good, but they insisted, and that's what Hashem did. Hashem said, do what they want. The second time, it ended up being better, because King David was the second king after King Saul. He was the monarchy that lasted, and we actually have to mention the monarchy of David when we do the blessing, the grace over meals, when we eat bread. And there's no complete consolation for Israel, salvation for Israel, until the kingdom of David will return. So we see that when we really believe in something and when we want something, it's gonna happen. So there's another interesting thing of Parashat Vayechi, this parsha that we're reading, that it's called Setuma. There's no space between its words for it. That it's teaching that this whole idea is very mysterious. We don't understand, why do we need to suffer? Why did Jacob specifically create a nation outside of Israel, in Egypt? Why was the Torah given outside of Israel in the desert? So it's teaching us that in our exile, we're achieving great things. Even when we're going through a very hard experience, we are achieving great things, and it's a kind of a consolation for us. We shouldn't give up when we're going through hard times. We should know that it's for our benefit, and only good is going to come out of that. God bless you all when we know only revealed good.